Moving into Willow Creek House was a dream come true for Sarah and Michael. An old stone house draped in ivy, nestled on the edge of a quiet village surrounded by rolling wheat fields and ancient olive trees. After the hustle of the city and the pressures of work, they yearned for the peace and quiet this place promised. In the early days, a sense of joy and anticipation filled the air. The couple busied themselves arranging the antique furniture they inherited with the house, adorning the walls with their photos, and exploring the sprawling backyard. Sarah, a passionate painter, found endless inspiration in the surrounding landscapes. Michael, a practical architect, enjoyed restoring some neglected corners of the house, feeling a spiritual connection with each old stone he touched. But as the weeks passed, Sarah began to notice something strange. In the late evenings, when silence enveloped the house, she would hear faint whispers, as if someone was murmuring incomprehensible words close to her ear. At first, she dismissed it, thinking it was just a figment of her imagination due to tiredness or the echo of the wind passing through the branches of the old willow tree by the window. However, the whispers became clearer, though still unintelligible. They came from different places in the house, from the corner of the dark bedroom, from the end of the long hallway, and even from within the walls of the living room. Sarah tried to share what she heard with Michael, but he would always respond with a reassuring smile, saying she was probably tired or imagining things because of the extreme quiet she wasn't used to. Sarah began to feel uneasy. These weren't just fleeting sounds. There was something distinct about them, a subtle tone that made her heart clench. One night, while she was sitting in the art room, she heard the whisper more clearly than ever before. It wasn't just murmuring. It sounded like it was calling her name. Sarah. Sarah jumped up in fright and turned around, but she saw nothing. Michael was asleep upstairs. A cold shiver ran down her spine despite the warmth of the room. She began to doubt her sanity. Were the solitude and silence affecting her this much? But in the following days, the voices became more insistent. They were no longer just whispers, but clear words, though spoken in a low, hoarse voice. The words were strange, unfamiliar, yet they carried a sense of distress and suffering. Sarah started recording these sounds on her phone, hoping to analyze them later, or perhaps to prove to herself that she wasn't crazy. When Michael listened to the recordings, a look of confusion and concern appeared on his face. He could hear something now, but he was still unable to understand the words. He suggested she see a doctor, but Sarah felt that the source of these sounds wasn't medical. It was connected to the house somehow. Sarah began researching the history of Willow Creek House. She spoke with the elderly residents of the village and browsed old documents in the town library. She discovered that the house was built in the late 19th century and had witnessed several tragic events. It was said that a family who lived there suffered a terrible fate, with some members disappearing under mysterious circumstances, while others died in horrific accidents within the house. One night, while Sarah was engrossed in reading old diaries she found in the attic, she heard a clear voice calling her from downstairs. The voice was familiar now, but it carried a new tone, a desperate and urgent one. Sarah slowly descended the stairs, her heart pounding violently. When she reached the living room, she felt that something was different. The air was heavier, colder. Suddenly, she heard the voice very clearly, speaking her name, but in a tone she had never heard before. The tone was sad, frightened, as if pleading with her. "Sarah, don't let her take you." Sarah froze in place. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. The reply came in the form of another faint whisper, but this time it carried meaning. "I am you. But I got lost here." Sarah began to understand. These weren't just echoes of the past. There was something trapped in this house, something connected to her in some way. Perhaps it was a restless spirit, or perhaps something more terrifying. In the following days, the voices became stronger and more specific. They began to speak of Sarah's own memories, her deepest fears, secrets she had never told anyone. Sarah began to feel as if another entity was living inside her mind, privy to her thoughts and memories. One night, Sarah woke up to find herself standing in front of the bedroom mirror. She didn't remember how she got there. She looked at her reflection, but something was different. Her eyes were wider, darker, and there was a faint, chilling smile on her lips. Finally, we are one. The reflection whispered in her voice, but it carried a cold, alien tone. Sarah tried to scream, but her voice failed her. She felt a strange force taking control of her body. She tried to move, but she was paralyzed. She saw the reflection slowly raise its hand and touch the surface of the mirror, and she felt a cold hand touch her face from the inside. Michael woke up in the morning to find the bed empty. He searched for Sarah throughout the house, but he couldn't find her. A strange feeling hung in the air, a sense of loneliness and loss. In the art room, Michael found a new painting that hadn't been there the day before. It was a portrait of a woman resembling Sarah closely, but her eyes were wide and dark, and a cold, chilling smile played on her lips. In the lower corner of the painting, there were words written in an unfamiliar script. "Finally, I am home." Michael stared at the painting with a mixture of horror and dawning understanding. He realized that the hidden echo was not just an illusion. It was something real, something that had been waiting for Sarah, something that had finally found its way into their world. And now Sarah was lost, replaced by another entity, inhabiting her body and relishing its return to its old home. Michael remained alone in Willow Creek House, occasionally hearing faint whispers calling his name from a distance, whispers carrying the same cold and chilling tone he had seen in the eyes of the woman in the painting. He knew she was still there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for her next opportunity. And the hidden echo of the house resonated in his ears, carrying with it a promise of more terror and loss.